sister who lie alone at night. Don't you ever doubt your beauty, no. Don't you ever doubt your light. You know that all the love you send always comes right back to you again. Lift up your shining face, 'cause you are amazing grace. All my brothers, trying to be true. You are a living answer to everything that's asked of you. Well, I just hope that you can see just how very much that it means to me. How well you run this race. You are amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. It turned my whole world upside down. I feel so lost, but you know I'm found. Just gotta look around me. Yeah, yeah. To everybody in this life so wide, keep the heart of a lover, the mind of a child. Oh, you know, I don't think that it's by chance that we met here in this mighty dance. Oh, love and time and space. Oh, it's all amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound to put my feet back on solid ground. I feel so lost, but you know I'm found. Just gotta look around me. It's all amazing grace. 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 It's all amazing grace.
It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's all amazing
So
grace.
amazing.
It's all amazing.
So
grace.
amazing.
It's all amazing.
Hey.
It's all amazing grace.
sisters who lie alone at night. Don't you ever doubt your beauty, no. Don't you ever doubt your light. You know that all the love you send always comes right back to you again. Lift up your shining face, 'cause you are amazing grace. All my brothers, trying to be true. You are the living answer to everything that's asked of you. Well, I just hope that you can see just how very much that it means to me. How well you run this race. You are amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound that turned my whole world upside down. I feel so lost, but you know I'm found. Just gotta look around me. Yeah, yeah. To everybody in this life so wide, keep the heart of a lover, the mind of a child. Oh, you know, I don't think that it's by chance that we met here in this mighty dance. Oh, love and time and space. Oh, it's all amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound to put my To all my sisters who lie alone at night, don't you ever doubt your beauty, no. Don't you ever doubt your light. You know that all the love you send always comes right back to you again. Lift up your shining face, 'cause you are amazing grace. All my brothers, trying to be true. You are the living answer to everything that's asked of you. Well, I just hope that you can see just how very much that it means to me. How well you run this race. You are amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. You turned my whole world upside down. I feel so lost, but you know I'm found. Just gotta look around me. Yeah, yeah. To everybody in this life so wide, keep the heart of a lover, the mind of a child. Oh, you know, I don't think that it's by chance that we met here in this mighty dance. Oh, love and time and space. Oh, it's all amazing grace. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound to put my feet back on solid ground. I feel so lost, but you know I'm found. Just gotta look around me. It's all amazing grace. 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 It's all amazing grace.
It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace. It's all amazing. It's all amazing grace.
Good morning. If you are just listening, then perhaps you were jamming with me as we were listening to It's All Amazing. It's All Amazing Grace. Hi, my name is Jody Davidson, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a member here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living and a volunteer. It's my honor to serve as your presider this morning. Welcome to our Sunday celebration. We invite you to share the live stream so more folks can gather together and celebrate in spiritual community with us. Thank you. Our vision is to contribute to a world that works for everyone. I really feel compelled to take that in this morning with you, contributing to a world that works for everyone. How powerful is that? And we're a diverse community of belonging and growth, sharing the light and joy first within ourselves so that we can see it in others. It's a two-way street. It sure is. As a community, we strive to illuminate the spiritual truth that indeed we all belong to one another, and that calls for us to be inclusive, to embrace and celebrate all of our unique identities. All faiths and spiritual paths are welcome here. All abilities and ages, physical characteristics, gender identities, national origins, sexual orientations, ethnicities, and races, all of it and all of us. We are opening our service this morning with a few announcements. The first is that in Howard County, Maryland, we live and work on the unceded traditional ancestral lands of the Piscataway tribe of the Algonquin. We recognize the Piscataway community, past, present, and future, and we honor their elders, those living now, and in all future generations, the generations to come. I also want to acknowledge and celebrate the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. And we also join together tomorrow in celebration of Juneteenth. Juneteenth is also called Emancipation Day, Jubilee Day, Freedom Day, and Black Independence Day. On June 19th, 1865, Major General Condon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of the Civil War and the end of slavery. Although the Emancipation Proclamation actually came 2.5 years earlier on January 1st, 1863, many enslavers continued to hold enslaved Black people captive after the announcement. And so Juneteenth became very symbolic of the date representing African American freedom. And Juneteenth became a federal holiday on June 17th, 2021. Let's remember that and celebrate the tomorrow and all dates. At Columbia CSL, we have a saying here that singing is like praying twice. And so we invite you to join us in song this morning. We're blessed to have a guest musician, Chad Warren, who creates easy listening, grounded in humility and authenticity. So please join me in welcoming Chad Warren.
This is a song I wrote called Listen to You. But I've been wondering why you seem to have the answers, but when I ask you won't tell me why. For me, the past is shown. The more and more I live, seems like the less and less I know. You let me know just how you feel, take it on me how I feel and try to save you. Then I blame you. So many times this is how we do. We give advice and nobody asks you and try to save somebody, yeah. Over and over and over I try but I get denied, wishing I'd said nothing else. These days people don't want to be saved, they don't want to be fixed this way. I just need a little something simple, like an open ear to listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Will you let me know just how you feel? Take it on me of how I feel and try to save you. Sometimes I blame you. So many times this is how we do. We give advice and nobody asks you and try to save somebody, yeah. I don't want to save nobody, save nobody. I'm gonna listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Yeah. Well, I'm giving up my past, and I'm on to something new. Now I wanna take the time, yeah. I'm gonna listen to you. Well, I'm giving up my past, and I'm on to something new. Now I wanna take the time. Oh, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to you. Listen to you. I'm gonna listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. I'm gonna listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen.
How wonderful to listen to Chad and to hear those wonderful words and the music that was shared. If this is your first time experiencing Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. We want you to know that whoever you are and whatever path you're on, we welcome you and we celebrate together here. Thank you for joining. There are a variety of ways to connect and engage with others in spiritual community. We invite you to check out our website calendar at columbiacsl.com/events, and you can email us at info@columbiacsl.com. You can also call our office. The number's not on the screen, so you might want to jot it down if you have a piece of paper and a pen. The number is 410-750-8559. That's 410-750. I'm sorry, 410-750-8559. And you can find that on the website as well. Lots of information, lots of happenings. So now we begin to go inward and to engage in a continuation of our spiritual practice with one another. We'll have a contemplative reading by Mindy Derrick, and then a guided meditation and affirmative prayer by Idalia Romero, who's also one of our practitioners here at Columbia CSL. And so let us settle in and simply allow ourselves to be fully present in this moment where spirit is all there is.
Today's reading is from Science of Mind Magazine Daily Guide for June 5th, 2023 by Reverend Christy Hardwick. Intimate with the Infinite. We begin with a quote from Amy Steinberg. Intimate with the infinite. Let me be intimate with the infinite. Let me be deeply revealed. And from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind, page 153. We long for and need a conscious union with the infinite. This is as necessary to the nature and intellect of man as food is to the well-being of the physical body. In my book, Radical Self-Tenderness, I write about practices to cultivate tenderness in ourselves. I write about yoga, breath work, massage, singing, dancing, music, tapping, and more. The central tenet from which all the others derive is our relationship with spirit, with the unseen inner light and fire. Our intimacy with the infinite comes with constant awakening, prayer, and practicing of the presence. The more we drop into the inner chamber of our hearts to commune with the God self, the more such intimacy becomes our default position. Holmes reminds us that our relationship with the source of life is as necessary as food. We feed our bodies, and our relationship with that which created us feeds our soul. As Holmes said, when we are intimate with the infinite, in conscious union with it, we have all we need for an abundant and light-filled life. The intimacy is our ultimate self-tenderness, a deep, gorgeous surrender in God. Please join me in today's affirmation. Today, I welcome true intimacy with the infinite. I let myself be revealed as the expression of God that I am.
Good morning, my beloveds. Good morning. Oh, let us now just breathe into this moment, the one and only moment. As we become quiet and still, and we allow ourselves to feel, to really, really feel that intimate connection, that gentle tingle of the joy and pleasure in this moment of stillness. And in this moment of stillness, we feel that connection, that intimacy. Now deep down in our soul. Let us now connect. Connect with this gesture of self-love, self-care, deep within your heart space. Feel the tingling of it all as it flows through our body from head to toe. We even smile as we say out loud, pleasure, the pleasure of life itself. As you take this moment in time to give yourself this self-love and self-care that you deserve. You deserve it all. Let us now see and envision ourselves on this journey, getting the exercise you want, connecting and laughing with friends, enjoying a leisurely walk through nature, listening to the birds and looking up at the sky, the blue, beautiful sky. Taking a moment to do some devotional reading. Spending time in solitude, in that intimate connection. Enjoying all the gifts of self-care. Feel these practices of self-care renewing and rejuvenating and giving you a deep sense of connection, love, and pleasure with that universal knowing. That power that is always within us. Let us now, with this reminder of this connection, let's take a moment to just be. Be quiet and gently breathe and listen. Listen, listen, listen to our heart's song. In this space of quietness and gentle breathing, we know without a shadow of a doubt that there is never any separation. So now, just gently and sweetly, with lots of joy and pleasure, open your eyes as you allow yourself to embrace and envision what you have just experienced in these moments, and see yourself walking in the light of all this beauty and self-care and love this week as we pray. There is only one power and one presence, one mind, that beautiful, generous energy that is always alive, always vibrating. It is infused in every fiber, cell, and tissue of our being. It is always, always in a moment of joy and laughter and connection with us. And we feel that. We feel that as we affirm that today. We name and claim that today as we come together to celebrate here at the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Celebrate this beautiful, beautiful day, this day of fathering ourselves, knowing that within this fathering, within this day of growth and energy, we know that there is always connection, that there is no point in which we name it anything, we designate it anything. We know it is that very essence within each and every one of us. And we are reminded today of this as we celebrate this connection, this oneness. And as we hear the words that come forth through Reverend Rafe today, and through the music, and through just everything that is a part of this center, we just say yes to it all, because it is that connection of love with a capital L that we rejoice in today. And we just allow these words to just float into that nothingness of which they've come through me and affirm through me today, that it is all good because it is all God. It is all God. And we just release it, let it go. No, it is the divine essence that receives it, because the law is always here conspiring for this highest good. And together we just name and claim it and say, and so it is. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Adalia and Mindy, for helping us practice self-care and self-love this morning. So now we're going to hear again from Chad Warren.
This is a song written by Kim Char Meredith. It's called Breathe In, Breathe Out. You're welcome to join me. I open the window, I open the door, breath of life carry away all that does not serve me anymore. Sweep through the house, from ceiling to floor, breath of life move through me. You are all I am longing for. And breathe in, and breathe out. I open the windows, I open the door, breath of life carry you away. does not serve me anymore. Sweep through the house, from ceiling to floor. Breath of life move through me. You are all I am longing for. Breathe in, breathe out.
Thank you, Chad. Good morning, everyone. Let's take a breath together. So I want to take a moment to just simply say Happy Father's Day to anyone and everyone who has ever stood in the role of being a father at any level. I know it's easy to simply relate to fatherhood as our own children, and yet sometimes even in adulthood, there is a place where we, even as adults, need a father figure. We need that fatherly wisdom, and people show up to impart that to us. That was one of the profound gifts that came with this institution of marriage for me, was having a connection with my father-in-law that is still quite precious. So happy Father's Day, and I trust that each will be well celebrated. So this morning, we are talking about still yet again this idea of self-care. And we've talked about evolution of self-care. We've talked about, last week we talked about balancing grief and joy and the paradox of the two-sided thing. And so now we're going to talk about pleasure. And this whole idea of pleasure is still carrying on this idea of the double-sided coin, because in our biology, we have a pleasure-pain response. And that pleasure-pain response, interestingly enough, works very much like the coin that we looked at last week, the flip side. That very often when we experience pleasure, there is a pain associated with it. We'll get back to that, because that pain tends to be mental, tends to be conditioning. One of the most brilliant parts of our anatomy, I think, is our endorphin system, our endocrine system, that responds to pain. It unleashes this army of chemicals to counteract the pain that give us pleasure. Right? What an amazing system. And I tend to really relate to the physical body as a microcosm of the macro, right? That all of the systems in creation fully exist right here in our physical bodies. So, how amazing might it be to think about when we experience pain that there is already a system in this infinite thing called spirituality that is already releasing itself to counteract what we experience as pain and transform it to pleasure. It is available. So, what gets in our way? I know this will not surprise most of you. If you're brand new to metaphysics, this might be new information. Conditioned thinking. So, how does conditioned thinking happen in the context of pleasure? I'm so glad you asked. Conditioned thinking is our mental response to pleasure. Conditioned thinking has its own unfolding depending on how we use it. For some of us, this idea, this experience of pleasure anchors in such an incredible place in our biological reward system that we fall into a mental conditioning called addiction, where we start chasing that pleasure, even at the expense of pain. Now, I want to be really clear that is not limited to substances. It's just not. Um, some of you have heard me share if, you know, my idea that the world would be really well served by one universal 12-step fellowship called HA, Humans Anonymous, because we all have something that we're chasing, and that is anchored in our unknowing that we already are the very thing we're chasing. That all of the pleasure we could possibly ever imagine already exists in, through, and most importantly to me, as us. That we are it. More than it's available to us, we are it. Ernest Holmes in the 1926 edition talks about freedom and that we are given absolute freedom. And he talks about how we often question that freedom. And ultimately, what he's talking about is that freedom doesn't equal license. That we still have to mentally embody that freedom to understand it and to know how to use it. There are people who are imprisoned physically and they are absolutely free because they're mentally free. One of my mentors, probably my greatest mentor, Reverend Deborah Johnson, helped me understand that enslaved people had to be free consciously before they could be free physically. And then it was the knowing of generations that they were free. It's that place of standing in the I am free. And then it unfolds in the physical. And too often with this thing of pleasure, we get that backwards. That I will feel pleasure when something outside of me gives it to me. And so the bulk of my talk this morning is actually coming from one of the greatest books that I know once I learned how to read it, called the Bible. And technically, it's not a book, it's a library of books. And this morning, I'm working with the George Lamsa translation. Why George Lamsa? Because George Lamsa is a scholar who literally grew up speaking the exact same Aramaic language that Jesus spoke. And so his translation of the Peshitta, which is the Aramaic writing, is way more accurate. And I trust it way more than I trust people who inserted things that didn't even exist in the Aramaic language. And so, reading from the 12th chapter of Luke, verses 24 through 34, check this out. And he said to his disciples, "Therefore I say to you, do not worry for your life, what you will eat, nor for your body, what you will wear. For the life is much more important than food, and the body than clothing. Observe the ravens, do they not sow? They do not sow nor reap, and they have no storerooms and barns, and yet God feeds them. How much more important are you than the fowls? Who is among you who by worrying can add to his stature 1 cubit? So if you are not able to do the smaller thing, why do you worry about the rest? Observe the flowers, how they grow, for they do not toil nor do they spin. But I say to you that not even Solomon, with all his glory, was covered like one of these. And if God clothes in such fashion the grass of the fields, which today is and tomorrow falls into the fireplace, how much more is he to you, O you of little faith? So do not be anxious what you will eat and what you will drink, and let not your mind be disturbed by these things. For worldly people seek after all these things, and your Father knows that these things are also necessary for you. But you seek the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added to you. Do not be afraid, O little flock, for your Father is pleased to give you the kingdom. Sell all your possessions and give them as alms. Make for yourself purses that do not wear out, and a treasure in heaven that does not run short, where the thief does not come near and moth does not destroy. For where your treasure is, there also will be your heart." So, what is he saying there? Ultimately, what he's saying is that you already are everything you need. In metaphysics, we understand the kingdom as being mind, as being who we already are. We have already been given the kingdom. It was installed in us. It is our operating system, if you will. All we have to do is access it. When he's talking about create a purse that can't be destroyed. He's talking about mental discipline. And to stop seeking pleasure outside of ourselves and understand that it already exists as us, within us. And when we do that, everything that is pleasurable from the outside will just show up. We don't have to work for it, which flies in the face of everything we've been conditioned to believe, that pleasure is outside of us. And when we find that right person, that right diet, that right exercise, that right church, that right, then we'll experience what we want. And I invite you to flip the coin, to flip the paradigm, to embody, to know at that unquestioned level of faith, to allow yourself a level of pleasure that is the embodiment of the truth of who you are, that nothing on the outside can disturb, that you will live in that. And I've been hearing this for 2 weeks, working on this talk. Janet Jackson singing in my head the pleasure principle. So when we embody the truth of our being, we get to live in the present, in the pleasure principle all the time. And it doesn't mean stuff won't happen. It just means that we're not taken out of our pleasure by it. That the greatest self-care truly, perhaps, is caring for our authentic self, our inner self, our spiritual self. And that when we put our focus there, that will care for the human self. Just like creation feeds the birds, let creation feed you. Let your mental truth, let your essence feed your human self. Allow the Father within you to care for what the mother within you birthed. All one, all celebrated. Choose to be free, and you will be. Let's take this into prayer. And so I am knowing that life, this one substance, first cause is that it is all there is. There is nothing else. It is the unformed. It is the formed. It is all that I see, all that I experience. And it is the pure potentiality waiting to be tapped, to be ignited, to be expressed. It is a field of infinite pleasure, simply waiting to be known and experienced. This is my life. This is the life of all this life individualized, expanding, expressing, experiencing the pleasure of itself as its creation. And so I know that all the pleasure that it is is available, is fully present. There's no waiting period. And so I speak my word, claiming and affirming that in consciousness, we are each a little bit more aware in this moment than the last. That we are the pleasure we seek. That we dare to challenge the limitation of conditioned thinking that would have us live from separation and think that something outside of ourselves is greater than what is inside of ourselves. I speak my word, acknowledging the truth, activating the truth that there is no thing outside. That we each know pleasure from the inside out. That we live in pleasure beyond our wildest dreams, beyond anything that we can imagine. We allow that inner experience to inform our outer experience. And in that we celebrate, knowing that law always says yes, that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. I know it is already done. And so the only thing to do is let go. And I do. And I invite you to join me as we say together, and so it is.
And so it is. You know, Rev Rafe, what you modeled was really the reminder of how we can free ourselves when we truly remember the pleasure that resides within, not externally. That's a message that is certainly in service, and I want to thank you so very much. We just received, did we not? And so now it is time to give. Please use the giving options to give as we experience another musical gift from Chad Warren. But first, let us speak our prosperity affirmation together. I know that the infinite abundance of the universe is blessing and expanding my offering for the good of all. And so it is.
This song was written by Ricky Byers. It's called Holy, Holy Way. It's sort of a call and response type of song. I'll try my best to sing both parts, but please join in and help me. And here we go. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. 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 Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me live 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 in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. 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 Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Thank you so much, Chad. What a song. I think I'm going to be carrying that into my whole day, my holy day today, and I trust that you will as well. I'm noticing the chat that's coming through the live stream, and folks are really resonating with the service. And I want to thank everyone who gave during the offering this morning. We gratefully receive your gifts and tithes. Your support is an investment in the vitality and growth of our spiritual journey together at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, that we create a world that works for everyone. So please join me as we bless every gift, both given and received. Together, we receive these gifts, knowing they nurture and support our vision of contributing to a world that works for everyone. And so it is.
Hello again. So, we've just shared a unique spiritual experience, and now we get to do something with that. And so, I invite you to just take a moment and allow the newness of the information to help you, to guide you in setting an intention for the week. So, let's just breathe that in. And allow it to come from the inside to the head. And I invite you to empower it by giving it voice, if you choose, to share it in the chat so that we can all hold one another in our intentions. Okay, now that said, if you would like spiritual support, we are blessed to have an incredible group of licensed practitioners in service to our Columbia CSL community who are eager and ready and trained and capable to hold you in prayer and support you in developing your own spiritual practice and healing. You can access them through the information on the website, and you can send your prayer request to prayer@columbiacsl.com, and we will hold you in prayer throughout the week. Now, we have, I think that, go ahead with the next slide, Jesse. We have, two new practitioners. I want to welcome Deborah Ellis and Eugene Holden, who recently transferred their license to Columbia CSL. And so they have joined and will be way more visible as time passes in service to you, Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. How awesome is that? Okay, a couple of quick ones I'm going to run through. I now have office hours. I am at our office and you can read the address there. Just want to bring it to your attention. I'm there Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a good idea to call and check to make sure I'm actually in the office before you just drop by, because sometimes I have to go to the post office and do different things out in the community. Okay. New class. It's actually a discussion group. We're going to go through the entire original 1926 text. It can take 19 weeks. We may choose to take longer than that. And that is starting on Thursday evenings. It will be every Thursday evening from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And we're starting June 22nd. I am recommending that each person make a $10 investment per group, and no one is turned away. So, what do we have next, Jesse? There we go. Okay, the town hall meeting. We are changing the town hall meeting from a virtual only meeting to an in-person meeting starting in July. That will be the second Sunday of each month. Immediately after our in-person service, we will gather up and have our town hall meeting. And I am working out the technology so that we can also have people in our remote community join in that. So stay tuned. It's possible. We're going to make it happen. Okay. The Brunch Bunch. That's next week, June 25th. During our last town hall meeting, the community decided that to make things more streamlined and easy and predictable, that the Brunch Bunch will be gathering at Mad City Coffee for at least the next couple of months. And so you want to be a part of that, join the group there. And I believe part of that will be discussing how to move forward. So if you want to be a part, show up. Rolling out a Saturday summer fitness seminar series, and you can read the titles there. And yes, August 5th does in fact say FU. These are on Saturday. These will be on the Saturdays that we have virtual services. It creates an opportunity for those of you who have expressed a desire to be in person every week. This creates that opportunity. It also creates an opportunity for us to do some concentrated work together. There'll be more information coming out on these next week. Stay tuned. Next week is going to be a special Sunday, just by virtue of the title, Personalizing the Infinite. Our very own Andrea Brockfield will be our musician, and so I invite you to show up and see what magic can happen. All right. So this is our affirmation for the week, and I invite you to just take it in, and then we'll read it again together. Today, I find pleasure in knowing that my deepest inner desire is life expressing as me. Let's say that together. Today, I find pleasure in knowing that my deepest inner desire is life expressing as me. Got some thank yous that I want to go through here. I want to thank, because it takes a village to pull all this off, and I want to really begin to highlight that. So thank you, Jody Davidson, for being our presider. Thank you, Mindy Derrick, for being our reader. Idalia Romero for being our spiritual practice, Chad Warren, our musician. Thank you, Jesse Dabbs, for being behind the scene running our live stream. Thank you, Don Henderson, for being our behind the scenes tech preparation, for Mary Jane Thompson for picking today's reading. A lot goes on behind the scenes that makes our center even happen, and that happens by our board of trustees: Julia Mattis, Karen Brown, B. Amon James, Andrea Brockfeld, Mary Jane Thompson, and Don Henderson. And all the stuff that you see online is happening with the help of our virtual assistant, Sandy Dell. And the person that you probably will never see, but oh my goodness, is she helping us tremendously, is our bookkeeper, Marie Howler. And the Facebook engagement that you've experienced this morning, thank you, Julia Mattis. We got a lot going on. So on behalf of our entire community, thank you, because you being a part of our experience today is why we do this. So please remember to check out our announcement slides that are going to roll as soon as I shut up, and I will see you next week in person. I love you.
These shoes have worn thin, and the dust that covers them gives a clue to where I've been. But now I've returned to a hope that nurtures me, with love as remedy from all the miles of doubt and the shame that seemed unending. Now I'm awakening. I stand and sing. I return to the source of my creation, opening to my place of transformation. Now I see love lives in me. I return to the glory of our oneness, flourishing, fearless, free, and fully conscious, mightily. I stand and sing, I have returned. Day after day, there are many paths to choose. On some we win and some we lose. Still all lead to one, where the hearts that tarry there believe in love beyond compare. And finally I trust your embrace and give thanks for the journey. Yes, I'm awakening. I stand and sing. I return to the source of my creation, opening to my place of transformation. Now I see love lives in me. I return to the glory of our oneness, flourishing, return.